Good day and welcome to Westchester Talk Radio. I'm John Marino. Welcome to the Cup of Joe political show here on Westchester Talk Radio, online, westchestertalkradio.com, produced by Sharc, with a C, not a K, S-H-A-R-C, Sharc Creative here at Westchester Talk Radio. All of our programming available on our YouTube channel, Sharc Creative YouTube, and we are made possible by lots of our good friends around the area, including Entergy, the Indian Point Energy Center. At Entergy, they promise to keep us powered up right through April of 2021. Lipolis Electric. At Lipolis, you are never in the dark. And Hightower Westchester. At Hightower Westchester, they manage your wealth to a fiduciary standard. We are joined by the mayor of the village of Bronxville, Mary Marvin, here on Westchester Talk Radio. Mayor Marvin, thank you for joining us. Great to see you again. I know right now, obviously, the past few months, past 4 or so months now, has been a challenging time for everybody around the area, especially in Bronxville, too. This summer, obviously, a bit different than any other. How hard has the COVID-19 pandemic, first of all, hit the community?
Well, it obviously hit all the residents on their personal basis, but, and we lost one of the most difficult thing is my recent deputy mayor, Glenn Bolito, passed away of COVID. So it hit home in a just a crushing way to the village. And luckily, and we have obviously New York Presbyterian Lawrence Hospital right here in the village. And we had that first gentleman from New Rochelle was brought to our hospital here in Bronxville. So
Lawrence Garbouz, when he came back from Florida during the winter and set off the whole pandemic, is when we finally found out the seriousness of this, when Mr. Garbouz had to be hospitalized.
Exactly. So, our hospital was, packed, literally packed with COVID patients for many, many weeks. So that was the most important thing. And then when we seemed to come out on the other side, frankly, then I started worrying about the health of the merchants. And now that's what we're working on at this juncture, is trying to keep our wonderful little downtown business district alive and well.
Mm-hmm. Now, the deputy mayor post, how is this affected because of what happened?
Well, he was the former deputy mayor, and then Mr. Bolito actually went on, and he was a councilman for us in the town of Eastchester. So his seat is still empty on the board at the town of Eastchester. Truly one of the finest men I ever knew, and it's very difficult to even think that he's not going to be here at our next group of meetings together. So hit home very much.
How do you manage as a government locally in Bronxville and across the town board in Eastchester too, to make up for something like this when you lose someone of this caliber?
I don't think, I don't know how. This is, we're really having new territory, and this hit all of us just so quickly. He got sick very quickly, and we lost him very quickly, that we still haven't we haven't sort of gotten back up off the mat yet, quite frankly. A huge loss. He was deputy mayor in the village for a decade, and then went off to Eastchester and served there for a decade. So the consummate civil servant. So we loved him.
And this brings, I guess it really hits home for those who say the pandemic is not something to be worried about as much as maybe other things or other illnesses. It's kind of like a mess of flu in a way, but in the end, we'll all get over it. When you have something like this hit so close to home, that shows you it can happen to anyone.
Exactly. It really does. It brings it home. And, this village, my police chief, it's fabulous, worked with me. Every day we sent out alerts to our residents. Every Monday and every Friday, we talked to them by phone about different, giving them COVID numbers, giving them I went out and passed out over 1,000 masks that the county gave us to residents because we knew very much how we had to stay healthy and what this illness could do to you. So
you bring up an interesting point about passing out masks. What was the reception when you, Mayor Mary Marvin of Bronxville, were doing that, and others too? How did people react?
People were absolutely wonderful. I did it in the business district. So I got a wonderful cross section of shoppers from all over, folks from Yonkers and New Rochelle. And I also had several policemen helping me do it, which, you have to set a tone and set an example. And, folks took them or put them right on if they didn't have one of their own. So, you got to lead by example on these things.
Your reputation through the years is being very proactive as a mayor, like, for example, passing out masks, saying it's my village, I have to do this. And you've always been in touch with the other area leaders around the county, both locally and on a county-wide level. How well has everybody come together around the county, those who govern, county board, mayors, town supervisors, obviously the great job County Executive George Latimer has done. How well has everyone worked together through this, regardless of party affiliation?
Well, first of all, I have to agree with you. I think County Exec Latimer has done A-plus job. He kept us together. He kept us current on the whole issues with the county health department. And many of us were very close to begin with because I've been doing this job for 14 years now. But if there was a silver lining, it brought us all much closer as everybody was there to help each other out. And everybody, we all got a little humbled by what we were having to deal with. And we lent hands across the aisle just to do anything we could to help each other out. So I think it's brought us much closer as a county, quite frankly.
Bronxville Mayor Mary Marvin here on Westchester Talk Radio, westchestertalkradio.com, produced by Sharc Creative. Mayor Marvin, the other key issue right now, besides the COVID-19 pandemic, one of the other key issues, of course, police reform and social justice, all kind of tied together into one. How is Bronxville now dealing with what's going on with the push, the call for social justice, and knowing that statewide some reforms have been made to kind of alter policing one way or another?
Well, we did have, and I have to say it, it just overwhelmed me. We had a beautiful, what we called a unity march, and we had over 1,000 people walk down Pondfield Road. Mostly our citizens, but then many people from other communities. We had some amazing inspirational speakers, and it was all done with such a tone of unity and caring. And I was just really proud to be a part of it. And, my belief now is we absolutely needed to do that, but now we have to act in concrete ways. We showed our support. We have to listen. We've got to learn, and we've got to act. And one of my goals is to increase the connection with our neighbor in Mount Vernon. I think that's one of the frankly first things is we have a wonderful relationship, but we can always do more. And I think now is the time, it's a call to do more. That being said, I think the police, I have such respect for our police department here. I hold them in awe, and I just want people to be careful not to paint too broad a brush. There's not a policeman out there who thought what happened in Minneapolis wasn't just incredibly heinous, but there's also some incredibly fabulous police officers out there as well.
The fact that you were able to put together such a peaceful march and protest, and we see things that have happened in other parts of the country, even in New York City, right next door, for example. What's the key when you organize an event like this to make sure everybody stays on the up and up, everybody stays on message, and that nobody strays, so we get the kind of peaceful event that you were able to put together in Bronxville?
Well, I think the key is there has to be a lot of planning, and I also think you have to bring everybody to the table, and you really have to sit down and have a common vision and really talk it out and just say, what are we trying to accomplish? And I think you have to set a tone by your own behavior. And as I say, it was one of my honestly proudest moments just to be part of something like that, to see people just walking and talking together. And as I say, there was, so many of us going down Palmfield Road that I'll remember it forever, quite frankly.
Mayor Mary Marvin, as we move towards the middle of summer 2020, a most unique, historic, and challenging summer, the kind of summer that we may never, ever see again, the kind of year we may never, ever see again in our lifetime. The school year is fast approaching. From what you've seen and heard, what do you think we can expect at the moment once we get to the first week of September and the Labor Day is all done?
I don't know. And I'll be really honest. I know our school is having meetings. Everybody is trying so hard to bring some of the children in if they can. And literally, I've never seen people work as hard. But as yet, I think everyone's waiting for the governor's message, which I think is now going to be in early August, as to his vision or framing of what the school systems are going to do. But I do know my wonderful partners across the street at the school are there every day trying to put something together for the children. My big worry at this juncture is my wonderful business district, and we've got to keep all of our Westchester small downtowns going. And so we've done a program of outdoor dining. You have to come down one night, my treat, and it looks like a little bit of Paris. It really does, with white lights and tents. And tonight's actually going to be our first, we call it sunset shopping, where our merchants, our non-restaurant merchants, are going to stay open in the hopes that maybe they will garner some more customers from the folks who come to have outdoor dining. So we've started a loan program through the generosity of village residents. We're giving loans to our merchants to help them get through this rough spot. And we just so value the partnership with our merchants that honestly, this is my goal the rest of the summer, is to see that they come out of this intact as much as they can.
You are very attuned to the entire Westchester business community. You have been for decades, especially in your role the last 14 years as the mayor of Bronxville. Talk about how getting people out, getting people to come out to a restaurant, to come out and shop on a night like this, for example, how getting people out there helps not only Bronxville, but the entire Westchester community and our entire metro area.
Well, I think we're and as you said, I was actually head of the Mayor's Association for a couple of years. And and we are so interlaced that the wonderful local sales tax. I mean, thanks to all the small towns in Westchester, Bronxville receives almost $1 million a year in return on sales tax, and how that helps a budget. I mean, I can't imagine if we didn't have our small business districts. I mean, I treasure them, the ones in Tuckahoe, the ones in Scarsdale. We're all in this together, and we have got to shop local. We have now more than ever, we've got to support the people who have supported us for years, and now they need our help. And darn, we all have to be there. We just do.
Our thanks to the mayor of Bronxville, Mary Marvin, for joining us here on Westchester Talk Radio. I'm John Marino, WestchesterTalkRadio.com. Brought to you by, made possible by, our good friends at places like Entergy, the Indian Point Energy Center, promising to keep us powered up right through April of 2021. Our pals over at White Plains Hospital, we adore you at White Plains Hospital, all the frontline workers there, all you have done throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. Also, Wartburg Healthcare and Rehabilitation in Mount Vernon, and U2 Park Sterling Realty in Bronxville. Again, our thanks to Mayor Mary Marvin of Bronxville, and Labriola, Michael Labriola, Landscape Design and Construction. We thank you one and all for being part of Westchester Talk Radio, produced by Sharc, S-H-A-R-C, Sharc Creative. Cup of Joe Political Show. I'm John Marino. We thank you for being part of what we do. Catch all of our programming on our Sharc Creative YouTube channel. Just go to Sharc Creative YouTube.